Hello and welcome back to concurrent session number 2 in our digital transformation session today. Our next session is Curriculum Connect, Repositioning Schools Engagement, and we're about to hear from Hine, who is currently the Teacher in Residence and Coordinator of Schools Engagement at the State Library of Queensland. Joanne has worked extensively as a visual art and media teacher and is an experienced visual art curriculum writer. She's held positions at the QCAA Principal Education Officer for Visual Art. She's also co-author of Creative Inquiry, Queensland's visual art textbook, which is published by Cambridge University Press. Joanne has enjoyed a steep and exciting learning journey into the library world since taking up this position in 2021, and will be joined by Raunik, Executive Director of Content and Client Services at the State Library of Queensland, when we come back for questions. So over to you, Joanne.
Hi everyone, my name is Hine and I'm the Teacher in Residence and Coordinator of Schools Engagement at the State Library of Queensland. My short presentation today is about our new website called Curriculum Connect. To start with, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of Queensland Point, the Turrbal and the Jagera peoples, who have nurtured the site on which the State Library of Queensland stands for generations. Curriculum Connect is a new website which now houses all of State Library's education resources in one easy-to-find location. It features classroom-ready units of work, lesson plans, one-off activities, teacher professional development, and opportunities for students to build their research skills. All the teaching resources are specifically linked to current syllabuses. It was launched in July this year and currently houses over 70 education resources, with several more planned to be uploaded by the end of the year. Prior to this, education resources were housed on individual exhibition web pages throughout State Library's website. They were more difficult for teachers to locate and use. Curriculum Connect is built on 2 core pillars. The first is Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander culture and stories, sharing First Nations perspectives and building the capacity of teachers delivering this content. Secondly, Queensland stories, bringing interpretations of Queensland's past and contemporary life into classrooms, ensuring students can connect to content that reflects their world and experiences. Newly commissioned and refreshed favourite resources contain rigorous content and were created by practising experts in their teaching areas, with alignment to the new Queensland senior syllabuses in English, Visual Art, Geography and History, and 5 of the 7 key learning areas from the national curriculum: the arts, history and social science, technologies, English and science. An example of newly commissioned resources include 3 units of work that focus on Torres Strait Island stories collected by Margaret Laurie, a teacher, on her many visits to the islands in the 1950s, 60s and 70s. These align with the Australian curriculum for English and feature links to the digital telling of these stories by contemporary Torres Strait Islanders in their own languages. There are also 3 units of work aligned with Australian curriculum and Queensland senior syllabus in geography. They focus on an interactive digital tool called Mapping Future Brisbane, created by State Library's Digital Collections Catalyst in Residence, Dr. Keir Winesmith, which uses State Library's historic map collections to create machine learning models that visualise different possible futures for the city. These resources encourage students to explore, predict and design how Brisbane might respond to population increases and climate change in the future. Award-winning educator Cara Shipp worked with us to revise and update several of our existing resources to ensure First Nations voices were represented fairly and accurately. This slide shows 7 resources that explore the achievements of First Nations sporting heroes through the lens of the English curriculum. Curriculum Connect also houses our online professional development. These are recorded webinars made especially for teachers. It also houses short videos aimed at students, providing a quick overview of how to use State Library as a key resource in assignment research. In determining how to design Curriculum Connect to really support teachers well, interviews with potential users were conducted. Teachers were asked to identify their goals, motivations, behaviours and pain points. Developing an understanding of teachers' work assisted State Library's digital designers to develop functionality to make life easier for teachers. Early conversations indicated that teachers are time poor, always looking for trustworthy, high-quality resources that are aligned to curriculum. They like to be organised, they want adaptable resources, and they are always looking for resources to support their teaching of First Nations perspectives. The result of this consultation with teachers includes improved functionality, such as the ability to make and save lists of favourite resources and share these via a link with colleagues or students. The ability to download the resources as Word documents to enable easy adaptation. Specific curriculum links that show at a glance which content descriptions and general capabilities are covered by the activities in a resource. And around a third of the 70% resources on Curriculum Connect include First Nations perspectives, because this was identified as a need by teachers. Early user testing provided encouraging results. For instance, as a beginning teacher, I'm trying to collect a bank of resources to use in future practice. This website is perfect for me. This is one of the strengths of Curriculum Connect. The resources showcased best practice, planning, sequencing, use of stimulus experiences and authentic learning. They effectively act as a professional development for teachers, particularly beginning teachers and those in rural and remote Queensland, and especially those who are teaching in a subject area that they haven't trained in. Another teacher in user testing said, "I would see this website as being a favourite for our professional community and one our staff would use to share and collaborate. The website has been designed with sharing and collaborating as a priority, and in response to early user testing, with users being able to like items, make lists of favourites and share them." A third response from user testing affirmed the emphasis on First Nations perspectives, saying that I would absolutely use this to source good materials, especially for Queensland and First Nations resources. We have had a great response to date, with almost 5,000 users since launching in July. But Curriculum Connect is still in its infancy, after just 1.5 school terms. More user surveying will occur in February to inform future developments. Curriculum Connect is a vital platform enabling access to innovative and relevant resources for students, caregivers and educators alike. State Library is committed to growing the Curriculum Connect offer in both content and reach. Looking forward, we will explore ways to ensure scalable growth of this online learning space to deliver long-term outcomes for Queensland students caregivers and educators. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jo, for the presentation about the Curriculum Connect website. And welcome Jo and Anna, who is going to join for us for a conversation now, and so a few questions about what we've just heard about. So one of my first questions is probably a fairly predictable question. It's about having a teacher in residence and the role of libraries and in delivering support for the curriculum, both for students and for teachers. So is this a new position at the State Library, and how did it come about?
I'll start. It's a relatively new position. I think Jo is our third teacher in residence. So it's a temporary role for 2 years, and the thinking was that we would get new teachers in every couple of years to bring in their expertise. And I think we thought hard about it and acknowledged that even though we're experts in the field of libraries and collections, we need teachers in working with us to translate and transform our collections so they meet teachers' needs.
Yeah, and I think that that's particularly true with the Curriculum Connect website, because all of the resources have specific curriculum links on them. So having that understanding what teachers are looking for gives us some insight into how to prepare resources for them. I think that's especially important when schools are one of our key clients.
Right.
It's a new language when it comes to learning the curriculum.
Right. Well, and as you say, this is about, as I understand it, bringing the collections together through the lens of the curriculum and having the credibility and the credentials of a teacher to translate that and make those connections. In terms of the website and the drivers for building a new website, you talked about consolidating a number of curriculum materials that were perhaps diverse, but you also talked about the content that was a big focus, about First Nations content and supporting teachers. And can you talk a bit about the building that trust in and confidence, I guess, in teachers to use those materials and connect?
Yes, I'm driving a program of advocating for the Curriculum Connect materials through interactions through the professional associations in Queensland. So I'm quite involved in the Art Teachers Association, for instance, but it's really about, I guess in a way it's kind of tapping into my credibility, because I have established those links, and I think getting to know teachers and getting to know people in schools, which is really what my role is about, networking and explaining to teachers how important the library's amazing collection is to the work that they can do in schools.
I think it was a good example of us practicing what we preach when we say we put the user first. So, because we had resources in the collection and throughout the website, as Jo said, but once we started talking to teachers, and particularly in that lockdown period last year when everyone was hungry for content and assistance, it became clear that we needed to make it easier for the teacher to find the content, or for the parent or the caregiver to be able to find the content. So that, I think, is our greatest learning so far, is that engagement early in your project to find out what the client needs, not what we think they need.
So with that, you talked about a few responses to the new website. Any surprises or any gems and delight from connecting with users in new ways?
I think anecdotally, I presented to some art teachers and some primary art teachers from regional Queensland earlier in the year, and some of them were very excited about the resources, because some of our resources are actually full units of work. So I did sort of allude to this on the video, that if you are in a remote location and you are teaching a subject that you haven't trained in, or that you might have only done a little bit of training in,
these resources can actually assist you from where to go, because they not only have curriculum links, but they actually are set out like full units of work with instructions for the teacher who may not have had any experience in that subject area whatsoever before. So they are really good examples of best practice.
That's fantastic. What a great story, and what a fantastic service that the State Library of Queensland is able to do for education. Thank you so much, Jo and Anna. We've run out of time now, and I think we'd like to talk more about this, but we'll keep connected via the website. Thank you so much for sharing the story.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.